Hello and a very warm welcome to the Insider SA, your guide to living better. Join us today as we explore the theme of freedom, celebrating incredible stories of free-spirited individuals. Find out how one of the country's leading chefs, Reuben Riffel, enjoys the freedom living in Franschhoek gives him. Join an aspiring model and radio presenter on her first ever trip to Cape Town. Hear how record-breaking ice diver Amber Fillary is using the sport to overcome her challenges. Meet a family who've hit the road, converting an old bus into a family home they're traveling across the country in. Experience the charm of Matjiesvlei with founder of the Braai Day movement, Jan Scannell, and see how Gabrielle Kool is creating beautiful sustainable swimwear. Watch and win with the Insider SA. Visit our social media pages for details on how to win prizes and get discounts from this week's show. For Reuben Riffel, life began in the town of Scannell in the Franschhoek Valley. Initially, his palate was developed by occasional meals his mother would bring home from the restaurants where she worked.
I've been in this industry now, I think roughly sort of 25 years already. The cool thing for me, I think still living in Franschhoek, is that, I drive down this road sometimes towards sort of the village where I was born and I grew up, and I'm thinking, I used to walk up to work thinking about, where I want to be and what I wanted to do. It does remind me sometimes of, yes, where I've come from, but also how it feels like the time just flew by so quickly, here I am today. I've done 4 recipe books. I've done, I think, close to 12 TV shows. I've opened a few restaurants, closed them along the way, gained a lot of experience.
Despite no formal training, Ruben has honed his skills through the many incredible mentors he has worked with. His first major role in a professional kitchen came while working as a sous chef when the executive chef did not arrive for work and Ruben was ready and willing to step up to the plate.
I like to keep things simple. I'm going to make 2 very easy dishes, a quiche, and then I'm going to make a little bacon sandwich. Very simple, but really delicious. First things first, I'm going to start with a quiche because that needs to bake into the oven for a couple of minutes. I'm going to chop up some onion and leeks, just roughly, and then I'm going to just slowly sweat away in a combination of butter and olive oil. I've just seasoned the leeks and onions with some salt, and now I'm adding some thyme from my garden actually. It's nice, especially these hardy herbs, to grow it yourself. It's better to grow them than to buy them because normally you buy and you just use what you need to use and the rest are just dying away in your fridge. So grow them yourself. I absolutely love chorizo. It's just so versatile. You can use it in a mixture like what we're doing now for our quiche. You can have it with breakfast. You can make your small little sandwich if you want to. And it's got that sort of explosion of flavors. This is done. Now I'm quickly going to prep some tomatoes. Into the pan with some garlic. I've got some olive oil in there, some beautiful roasted tomatoes, some salt, and then I'm going to finish it off with smoked paprika. While the tomatoes are slowly roasting, just before they heat up too much, I just squash them, just to get rid of the juice, and that juice sort of cooks down and just adds to that beautiful flavor, mixing with the olive oil and the garlic and the smoked paprika. I'll give it a quick taste. Delicious. Can't make a quiche without breaking some eggs. Now I'm going to add the cream. Let's bring everything together. The leeks, onion, and chorizo goes in there. Now you can't make a quiche without a good cheese, and I'm using this aged cheddar. Now, I know it's my day off, and I'm cooking. It's something that I do every day, but cooking for me is actually relaxing. It relaxes me. It's something that I love to do, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's about having fun. I'm going to cook this very gently at about 120 for 15 minutes. And while they're cooking, I'm going to start on those bacon rolls. So I'm going to fry the bacon in a non-stick pan. The idea is for the fat to render out and the bacon to crisp up really nicely within its own fat. The bacon is crispy. Now for the fun bit. So I'm adding dukkha spice. I mean, it's been around in South Africa now for a while, but it's a Middle Eastern spice mix. It goes really well with cheese, but also amazing with bacon. Okay, now for a bit of honey. Now the honey really goes well with the dukkha itself, but you can just imagine that little bit of sweetness with the saltiness and the fat of the bacon. I mean, it's just amazing. And of course, my lemon tree is doing so well at the moment, and I just couldn't resist adding a bit of that zest to this bacon as well. We'll just add a different dimension to the taste. Toss it all together. Now we can just assemble our sandwich. I'm gonna put on some of those beautiful squash tomatoes I made earlier. Fresh rocket, a few slices of that nice strong mature cheddar, and then top it off with that beautiful crispy bacon. Okay, these are done. It's perfect timing because I think our quiches are just about ready. Hey man, these are looking fantastic. Now just to wrap them up and then we're ready to go. The restaurant business does keep you busy, but it does afford me to now and then actually take a day off. And I really cherish that, I enjoy it, and I try and do things that I really love. So people obviously know my passion for cooking and food, but I think what people don't know is also I've got a massive passion for cars, all sorts of cars. Even though I like fast cars, on a day like today, on my off day, I like to take this old girl out. I think she sort of forces me to slow down a little bit and to take it easy. My love for cars, it started when I was very young. My dad never had a car, but we had an old broken down car on our lawn, and that's where we played a lot. I was the driver, and then always imagining going somewhere. When I had the opportunity to actually buy my first car, that's when I realized what a sense of freedom having a car gives you. And then I obviously got into different cars, older cars, fast cars, off-roading. So I think I love everything about it, from the smell of a car, the sensation that driving gives you, and even getting my car ready, giving it a wash, cleaning it, getting into it and taking it for a drive. This is Tebatso Golf Club out here in Villiersdorp. It's about half an hour's drive from Franschhoek. It's a fairly quiet golf course, especially during the week, and I think that's why I love coming here. It's just much more peaceful. It just allows me to really relax, and it kind of like allows me to think a little bit, especially when I have to make a big decision about something. It really helps me with that. And I think, yeah, one of the biggest things, of course, is there's nobody out here to judge my bad swing. Sure. I'm gonna be under a tree somewhere. I think this is something that typically happens. Oh, I'm out there, so out of bounds. Normally I'm not smiling about it. I love golf. I think it really started when I went over to the UK. So I was around Cambridge, beautiful golf courses out there, and I think I started to play there and I just fell in love with it. Golf is one of those games that once you get into it, you know, it just draws you in more and more in. You know, you just want to get better at it. And obviously the nice thing of being, you know, just out there, it feels like you're closer to nature as well. You see, I thought I'm going to be all alone here, but I've obviously got some company, whether I like it or not. Come. I think I packed enough food for both of us. this is what it's all about. Beautiful food, taking a nice scenic drive in an old, beautiful car, and just enjoying the scenery and nature out here while playing one of my favorite games, golf. What can be better?
The ability to steer one's life provides a sense of freedom that inspires creativity. Chef Reuben Riffel is a national treasure and one of Franschhoek's favorite sons. Coming up, find out just how easy it is to travel with Capitec Global One savings account. And dive into ice water with record-breaking swimmer Amber Fillary. Meet Tebatso Mamabolo, aspiring model, content producer, radio presenter, and public relations student who spends time between her home in Polokwane and university in Tshwane. Tebatso has big dreams and despite challenges is on track to realize her aspirations through hard work and dedicated saving. We join her as she prepares to visit Cape Town for the first time.
I was born and bred at Matjiesvlei, Mamabolo, and growing up, it was a bit of a challenge because I would get bullied because of my size, but I could handle it because I'm all bubbly and outspoken and outrovert. I'm an aspiring radio presenter and I want to make it big in the modeling industry, as well as launching my own campaign for modeling where I teach girls about how to handle yourself in the modeling industry. I started saving last year, October, and I'm halfway through my goal, maybe 75%. Saving with the Capitec Global One account has been easy, but on my side, since I'm a big spender, it has been difficult. So with a little bit of discipline, I managed to save 20% of whatever I receive from the parents. It was easy for me to open a Capitec Global One account because the monthly fees were close to nothing. What I like about being a Capitec client is the freedom I get to use my app whenever I want to, as well as opening a dedicated savings account.
Tebatso is my uncle's daughter. I'm her cousin. She's a very bubbly person. She goes for what she wants. She always plans things and I know she's going to achieve them. I think she learned her saving skills from her dad because her dad is into the construction, like he works for himself. So he had to save so that they can have like a home, school, clothes and everything.
True freedom to me means going out there and spreading my wings, going out of my cocoon and exploring the world. The initial plan with my friends was for us to get outside our comfort zone, our province, and getting to see what other provinces has to offer. I am very much excited to explore what the mother city has in store for us.
After her very first flight, Tebatso was thrilled to touch down in the beautiful Western Cape. Traveling and exploring has been a dream for many years, and her choice of Cape Town was living up to its expectations.
Where do I even begin to explain the feeling of seeing the sea for the first time? My face is glowing up. I bet you can tell from that, but I don't know how I even got goosebumps. What I'm planning to do with my hard-earned savings, to see and explore the city, the beauty of it, by being up the Cape Wheel, and of course, what's the point of being next to the sea and not being on it? I think a boat cruise will be cherry on top. My content is about me embarking on a journey to get to know a little bit more about our country, as well as the adventures, of course. For a person who is terrified of heights, the Cape Wheel is nothing but amazing. And being so high up, it's something else. I can see the Cape Town Stadium, I can see the sea, I can see the mountain from here. It's amazing. Seeing Seeing the Table Mountain high above has been, oh my gosh, I got no words for it. Saw the sea, also saw the Reuben Island, but I have somewhere else special to me. Come along with me.
Next up, Tebatso has booked a sunset cruise on a 40-foot luxury sailing catamaran using her Capitec Global One savings account.
Hi, Hilton.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Not too bad. Well, welcome on board Serenity One. Are you looking forward to it?
I'm so excited, can't wait for it.
The sunset cruise consists of about an hour and a half. So pretty much we're going to head out of the harbour, go towards the market buoy, which is just outside, show you guys some seals, and then we just sit and watch the sunset.
With me being my first time on a boat, what experience do you think I'm gonna have?
So today is actually the perfect day out there. Nice and smooth sailing. If you like adventure and you like water, it's a perfect thing to do on a lovely day. So don't worry, you're in good hands.
This experience is actually different from what I expected to see. I mean, I'm literally sitting next to the waves and I don't know how I feel, but it's exciting. This experience is motivating me to save more, to explore what our country has to offer. And I've always told myself that whatever your heart tells you, go for it. No matter where you come from, no matter what you think you cannot do, you can always overcome that. So I believe that everyone can go further than where they are and do more and enjoy what the country and this life has to offer.
What a way to celebrate her newfound freedom. You stand a chance of winning 1,000 Rand to kickstart your savings campaign. Simply reply to the competition post on the insidersa.co.za using hashtag CapitecLiveBetter. T's and C's apply and can be found on the Insider SA website. Someone who lives in and loves the Cape is exceptional swimmer Amber Fillary. Finding healing from challenges in life, she became a record-breaking freediver who swims under ice in freezing temperatures with little protection other than goggles, a cap and a swimsuit.
So the current record I hold is under ice, breath hold record, no fins, no diving suit. For the record, I swam 70 meters. The temperature of the water that I swam in is about 1 degree. The training that I did for the record was I trained in a normal swimming pool just to get the technique and work on my breath hold. And then I went to Germany where I swam in the lakes to acclimatize to the cold. And then I went to Norway and I spent about 10 days working out. They dug the holes in the ice and then we put the ropes in and then we had to work out the whole formality of that. So swimming for me and being in the water is what I do to meditate. I'm relaxed. It's the place I feel the most relaxed and the most comfortable and the most at home.
Her passion for freediving began while she was working as a lifeguard at a pool in London. The cold temperatures sparked her interest in sub-zero diving. Her passion for swimming also extends to teaching others.
I'm a qualified swimming instructor. For me, water is my passion and it's the place I feel comfortable. And it's nice to pass that on to other people.
Well, I'm going to be teaching these kids to swim. So I just want to get them in the water because I haven't taught them before and see where they are at. And then I can take it from there to see what I need to improve, what needs to be worked on, and how we work from there. I just want to see what their general swimming ability is.
It's about sharing her knowledge and enabling herself and others to grow. Art and yoga have also helped Amber improve her mental health and physical prowess.
art is extremely therapeutic. It's a way of escaping, a way of releasing my emotions. Yeah, it's a way to meditate and escape and just express my emotions in a constructive way. So I've been doing yoga for a long time. I actually went to India and did an instructor course in yoga. Now it serves greatly with the free diving because it's meditative, it's relaxing, and it also gives you flexibility, which really helps for the free diving. I'm doing this because I enjoy it and it gives me benefit. So my message is really to reach out to other people, and it's a bit like my mantra of like, don't let depression and addiction get in the way of your dreams. So I would like to encourage other people to talk about issues if they have them, and also to not give up on their dreams, you know, no matter how difficult it is, because I've had so many obstacles that you keep going for it and you don't give up.
With plans to break the men's world record in 2022, Amber Fillary has her work cut out for her. We wish this champion all the best on her journey to find freedom through her passion for ice diving. Next on the Insider SA, explore Kimberley with a family who've converted an old bus into their home to experience the freedom of the open road. After the harsh effects of the last year encouraged Reynold and Sonja van die Kerk to think differently, they decided to follow a unique dream. Together with their 4 children, these 2 teachers converted an old bus into a home, which they are now using to travel around our country, providing them with a sense of freedom they have never experienced before.
My name is Sonja, and this is Katie, and this is Kathleen.
Kaiden and Kayla, and my name is Ronald.
And we are 4 kids in a bus.
I was a teacher at a remedial school. I did technology, PT, computers, from grade 1 to 7.
Yeah, I used to teach at the same school as Reinhold. I was the grade 1 teacher. And then when Katie was ready for school, I opened a preschool from home.
We went to Bali on a holiday and we ended up having the twins. And when Sonja was on maternity leave, she was watching a lot of series. And she came up with a big idea there.
Yeah. So I watched a series called Tiny Home Nation. And it was very interesting because they had a bus conversion. It was just amazing. It's a couple who converted a bus and they traveled around America. And yeah, my mind was blown. And that afternoon, I said to Ronald, we need to get a bus. And he said, only if I can find one, which I did, I think that same day.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we got the bus. When we showed our family pictures.
They were crazy.
Yeah, here we are. Our twins are 3 months old. Our unexpected twins are only 3 months old, and we're still adjusting to that, and now we're buying a bus and we're making this huge project. The first trip was so stressful.
And we got about maybe 10 minutes into the trip and the bus started going slower. And we go again and then slow down and then go again. And there was something wrong. We just eventually got stuck. It has been freeing for us in some ways, but in other ways, more stressful.
Very stressful.
You're giving up your job, so...
It's that security.
Yeah, it's that security. We've got obviously other incomes. We're renting our house out, and Sonja still has a business that she runs. But in other ways, we get to spend all the time with our kids, and we can do what we want. We can wake up and say we're not going to do anything today. We can just sit at home, or we can go walk through the velds, or sometimes we take our bikes and have a ride.
What I love about living on the bus is I actually like the small space, being in each other's faces all the time. Knowing where everybody is, it's obviously a much smaller space to keep clean, and obviously traveling with your house. It's also my scariest part, but it's nice to just pack your house up and go to somewhere new once a month.
Since I was a little child, I always wanted to stay in a double-story house.
You said that.
And now I get to stay in a double-story house.
Yeah.
It's clear that the children are enjoying the experience just as much as their parents.
Hello, my name is Katie. This is my bus. Come inside. This is my dad, Reinhold.
Hi, yes, when we got this double-decker bus, it was empty, there was nothing here. It had been sitting open for 18 years, with half the roof at the top being cut off. The man that owned it before, he wanted to make it into a tour bus. The floorboards upstairs and downstairs were rotten, and so with a lot of ideas from Sonia and on the internet, we managed to put it all together the way it looks now. Because the space is quite limited, we had to very strategically put things in places that could serve multiple purposes, such as our couch here. It can fold into a bed. The cupboards also just needs to be placed in places where it would be more practical for us to use and easy to get what we need. Okay, so the bathroom over here, we have the bath on the side and then the toilet on this side. And Sonia, one of her ideas is that we open up the doors on both sides so that we can make the bathroom a larger bathroom. It would be almost a normal sized bathroom where the whole family can then manage to fit inside if we need to wash all the kids together. Especially in winter, it helps a lot. But it also is able to just have a single person in the bathroom if we wanted to have that option as well.
Come meet my mom, she's upstairs. This is my mom's Sonia.
Welcome to the top of the bus. So at the top of the bus, we've got a classroom. So we've got a lot of storage because we were both teachers. We've got a lot of school stuff, so I wanted to keep that. Got lots of papers and things, so we made storage for that space. And then Reinhold insisted that the girls have to have their dollhouse, so we brought that along as well. We had to put it on one of the kists, and we also had to make sure that it's stuck on so that when we drive, everything doesn't fall over. Being a teacher, I think that children should be homeschooled from the start. So from little, you can read your child stories, sing nursery rhymes. That's part of being a mom, singing lullabies, but that's actually stimulating your child. And then I'd say doing a syllabus from about grade R, just because then your child could slot into a mainstream school if you want them to. If it's a school day, we normally come back upstairs. We take turns. Reinhold takes 1 week with the kids, and then I'll do the little ones, and we'll do more nursery rhymes and puzzles and all little fine motor games and gross motor, obviously, as well. And then the next week we swap around. Who's more fun as your teacher, Mommy or Daddy?
Mommy.
I'm going to tell Daddy, is it?
No.
Upstairs, we've got an extra toilet for nighttime use, and then each of the children have their own beds. So Caden's bed and Katie's bed, and then Carlene's bed and Kayla's bed. And this is our room. Reinhold made sure to put in my piece of sentimental furniture. This is where my mom used to stand and brush my hair in front of a mirror. So you had to build that into the bus. All our windows, the back and front windows, open up wide so that we could get a bit more airflow. So for an extra income, I often do tie-dye parties. So at the one campsite where we were parked, we had obviously campers that camped there, and I would just set up a table and go and sit there for an hour. And it would be a fun time for the kids to come and join. And actually a lot of adults also made some tie-dye shirts. Yeah, it really helps us to just tie us over on months where things get a bit more expensive. So what it entails is you need a white cotton shirt that you dunk into water that's mixed with soda ash, and then you have to twirl your shirt in the pattern that you like, and then once you've done that, then you add the colors, and obviously the colors that you want, and then it goes into a plastic packet for a day, and the next day you get to rinse it out and see your final product.
The bus runs off electricity and solar. Right now we're running off electricity, but we have the pins here where we can plug our solar panels, and then we can have panels out over here. Then over here is the fuel tank. We also have a gas geyser, so we can have hot water when we bath and do dishes. And then on this side we have the gas canister for the stove, which is also behind this point. And then over here at the back we have a wash line that we just clip in, and then we can have our washing to dry.
With their journey currently finding them in the Northern Cape, they can explore the rich history places like Kimberley have to offer. From the early diamond mining days of South Africa, there is plenty to learn from the town's rich history.
In each town that we stop, there's definitely learning happening. There's actually learning happening all the time. But every town, there's always something different that we see. Whether it be cultural differences or permaculture, things like that. We also learn something new every time we stop somewhere.
When we look for a place to go to, we look for something that's in the 1.5 to 2 hour distance for us. Then the bus can make it within a good time frame.
And also if the bus can fit.
Yeah.
When we go out to places, the children they generally enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
Seeing new things, and they have a lot of questions, of which I don't always have the answers, but luckily we Google them. Did you know all the diamonds that they ever found in the hole, they had to dig it from this level down into the ground. All of it fits into this diamond behind us.
And they can even, when they go out exploring, they like to run around and just look at things. Even if it's just a tree, they'll go and climb it.
And that's what's amazing about traveling with children, is that they see all the small things that we often miss, like the rocks. But sometimes the things that really inspire us, and you didn't think about that, but children see those. Mostly I want the children to learn that there's different ways of living, and that there's not just one way of doing things, and you have to wake up and go to work or to finish school and go to university. It's not, you don't necessarily have to do that. I just want them to be able to make their own choices in life.
For me, I wanted to just give the children an adventure, something that they could take with them for the rest of their life and look back and say, this is something we did as a family. I can now spend more time with them and show them things that I wouldn't have ordinarily been able to show them, like the Big Hole and Groot Mariku and all these adventures that we've been on. Our goal is to go down to the coast as quickly as possible. I would like to go to the west coast and up all the way towards Namibia and Botswana, and that would be the ultimate dream, even going higher if we could.
Yeah, the big dream would be to get to Europe via ferry, but we'll see. Small steps. We're getting through the first year first.
Yeah.
And then, but so far it's been good. I don't think it will be just 1 year. So something we'll definitely be doing for at least 2 for now.
As long as we can.
Yeah, as long as we're all happy.
It's not clear where their journey will lead them next, nor how long they'll be on the road. But for now, they have the freedom to choose their next adventure and go wherever the road takes them. Coming up, head out to the hidden gem of Matjiesvlei in the Karoo, where Jan Braai feels free and at home. As the founder of National Braai Day, Jan Braai has become a symbol of South African heritage, growing his passion for braaiing into a range of shows, best-selling books and experiences. We spent a day with him at his family retreat in Matjiesvlei, a small hidden valley in the Swartberg Mountains of the Klein Karoo.
My name is Jan Braai. You definitely used my surname as a verb, maybe you even own it as a noun. I hope both. My father's grandparents were from the area, so he's always loved the Klein Karoo, and 20 years ago we bought a piece of land in this beautiful valley, restored old houses. It used to be a little town, Matjiesvlei. This is where we come to relax. This is where I develop all my braai thoughts and recipes. And with COVID-19 changing the way that the world functions, I decided to spend more time here, essentially relocate for a while and just enjoy the platteland. Let me show you around Matjiesvlei. This is my main fire pit where most of the braaiing happens. This is my workbench where I prep the food, and this is my smoker for stuff that needs to be smoked. This is my half-oil barrel braai. This is where we do steak and drink brandy and coke. This is my souvla braai for Greek-style rotisserie braaiing, usually with a crisp white wine. And this is, of course, my truck wheel braai, more for like a sunset hors d'oeuvre braai, and a bit of gin and tonic. But obviously the braai options in Matjiesvlei isn't limited to just my front garden. This is a traditional buckwint. Whilst technically perhaps not a braai, you still fuel it with a wooden fire. This is where we do pizza. This is my father's braai, similar to mine, but different. This is the shower. It also has a great view. No, there's not a braai in there. Matjiesvlei then is a real passion project for my family, and we've been renovating and restoring bits of it over the years, like this beautiful cottage behind me that also has a braai. Now, what I like most about Matjiesvlei, apart from how relaxing it is here, is just how incredibly beautiful it is. Sometimes you get tired of all the braaiing, so we built a nice, relaxing area here in the shade of a soedoring tree to just come and unwind and also have a braai. This is the Gamka River that runs through the farm. It obviously comes from Leeuganka and the Groot Karoo, so when it rains in the Groot Karoo, we've got lots of water here. Eventually this river meets up with the Gourits River, so some of this water ends up in the Atlantic Ocean as the Gourits River. We also use some of this water to irrigate the few thousand olive trees we have in Matjiesvlei. Now, it really is a holiday farm. It was never the intention to be olive farmers or produce olive oil. But we also had a problem that we couldn't find Christmas trees. So when we were here on Christmas holidays, we always brought one new olive tree, decorated it and used that as a Christmas tree. After Christmas Day, before New Year's, we'd plant that tree. Eventually we had enough olives to make one little jar of olives. And then we said, this is so nice, let's plant a few more. We call this part middle plaas because it's right in the middle of the valley. So we've got enough olive trees for the next few Christmases.
Tucked between the Outeniqua, Swartberg and Rooiberg mountains, the nearby village of Calitzdorp has plenty to offer. The central hub is known as the fruit basket of the Karoo and has become world famous for its production of fortified wine known as port.
Matjiesvlei is about a 10-minute drive outside of Calitzdorp, and Calitzdorp is the port capital of South Africa. It also makes the best port wines in the world. So the thing to do in Calitzdorp is to taste port, and that is exactly what we're going to do now. I'm also going to gather some port for my braai recipe later today.
Calitzdorp became famous for port by accident. So my grandfather ordered Shiraz vines from a nursery in the Cape, got Tinta Barocca grapes instead, made wine for 10 years, didn't know it, and put Shiraz on the label. So my dad, Karoo Nell, he realized it's definitely not Shiraz, but it's actually Tinta Barocca, a Portuguese variety that you make port with. And then he went to Portugal, visited all the port producers there, and he learned how to make port in your proper traditional dry style, and also the different classes of port. And that is how Calitzdorp started as being the port capital of South Africa.
One of Jan's friends is local port maker Peter Bailey, who turned his retirement hobby into his business.
Cheers, Jan. Initially, we bought this place for something to do, and because we've got no electricity here, it's just solar and so on. And it was one of the few things that we could grow, which I was passionate about as well. But on a small basis like this, we could do it properly and we could do it very well. And at the end of the day, what comes out of the vineyard is what ends up in the bottle. And if that's bad, there's no ways you can make a good port out of a bad vineyard. This vineyard, I wouldn't allow anyone in there for about 6 years. I did everything. I pruned, I did the lot, the gate was locked. So it was like almost each vine was named.
Yeah. The apt way to finish off a day here, and in fact, anywhere in South Africa, no, anywhere in the world, is by lighting a braai fire we've gathered some port from the area to make some fantastic food. Hospitality goes hand in hand with South African platteland, so I invited some of my neighbors for tonight's braai. Now, obviously, for a braai, you need boerewors, and in front of me, I've got a red and yellow pepper, I've got some onions, garlic, and fresh herbs from the garden, and of course, some local port. I'm going to do an amazing relish in the potjie on the fire and make the greatest boerewors rolls in the history of history. Roughly chop the sweet peppers and also the onions and the garlic. You add that with a bit of olive oil, fry it up for a few minutes. Reduce that with, of course, some local port. The greatest relish you will ever serve with boerewors rolls. My local guests are too excited. The idea of National Braai Day was never that it should change my life as profoundly as it did. National Braai Day has been here since 2005. Did I ever intend to be a media personality? Absolutely not. Did I intend National Braai Day to be the most famous movement in South Africa and the world? Absolutely. It's all about uniting 50, 60, 70 million South Africans around the fire one day a year. Braaiing is the best way to cook food. We all know that, but fundamentally, we live in the greatest country in the world. But let's reinvent ourselves as South Africans and have a National Day of celebration and unite around the fire. En gryp vir julle. Thanks for joining me for a fantastic day in heaven. This is Matjiesvlei, Calitzdorp in the Klein Karoo.
Kan hom proe.
En mekaar.
Ja, nee, jy verstaan hom.
Relocating his family and his business to the Karoo has brought a new sense of freedom to Jan's life. We are blessed with the richness our country has to offer, and Matjiesvlei is one of South Africa's hidden gems. Next on the Insider Essay, meet a designer whose sustainable swimwear is giving her clients the freedom to enjoy the beach.
Simplify banking. Live better with Capitec.
Gabrielle Kool is a swimwear designer based in Cape Town with a strong focus on sustainability and slow fashion. We spent time with her to find out more about the inspiration behind her designs, tailored for women who appreciate contemporary style with timeless beauty.
My fashion journey started probably when I was a little girl. My mum's very creative. She's a jewelry designer, and she always used to sew our clothing. So she taught me how to sew, and I used to sew my own clothes and clothes for friends. And when I was a teenager, I used to make some up to sell at markets and things like that. So I really enjoyed getting into the creative side of things from a young age. But funny enough, I never thought I would actually study fashion. I always thought I would end up being like a scientist or something like that. And I ended up waitressing with a girl who was studying fashion. And it was very much a last-minute decision. I just thought, okay, I'm going to apply and just see. And I got in, and yeah, I ended up studying fashion and textile design at DUT in Durban. I've always been a beach baby. I've grown up in Durban, and my dad taught me to surf when I was young. So I've just had that beach culture, always in a bikini, always at the beach on the weekends. And when I was traveling in Mexico, there was the most amazing bikini shop that I went into, and I realized that we just didn't have the same options in South Africa. So I just thought, well, I love bikinis. There's definitely a niche in the market. So I decided I was going to go for it. The ladies that I designed for, I would like to think of as very sophisticated, very classy ladies. Women that don't necessarily follow trends, wanting to be on trend, but are rather looking for those classic pieces that are going to stand the test of time. For me, the fit is the most important thing, and trying to create certain details that are just slightly different. Taking a classic style or design and just adding a certain element or touch to it that just makes it a little bit, just that something different, that Gabrielle touch. Sustainability is one of our biggest priorities. So from start to finish, every decision I make within the business, I'm constantly thinking about our impact on the environment. So when I discovered that I could design my own prints and print it myself here locally, that opened up a whole new door. The fabric that we are printing on now is Reprieve fabric, which actually 82% of the composition is made from recycled plastic bottles that are cleaned up along our shorelines. Because Lycra has got a plastic base, we are able to use recycled plastic in the fabrics. Even our packaging, we just use brown paper bags. It's not very glamorous, but for me, at the end of the day, the swimwear speaks for itself. So the packaging, I'd rather just minimize extra wastage that we don't need. And also even just with currying, I found these mailers that are actually made from mealies and are completely compostable. So things like that, these small little changes that we can make that drastically can reduce our impact on the environment. We sell locally and we're definitely planning on pushing our international market more, especially because I really love the idea of showcasing South Africa. I feel a lot of the time South African design, or even just African design, has been quite limited in terms of, we have the most incredible prints, beautiful, beautiful African prints, but I wanted to showcase it in a different way. Everybody loves florals, women love florals, and with our diversity in this country, the fynbos that we have, with the endemic species that we have, there's just so much beauty even in the smallest flower, and I wanted to just be able to show off the immense beauty that we have here. We are so fortunate, and I feel like the rest of the world should know about it. I really want women to just feel naturally confident in a swimsuit. We all have different body types, and swimwear can be quite tricky, which is why I try to make my designs as versatile as possible to give ladies options. And I try to give a few different style tops and different style bottoms, and then offer a full piece, so that ladies basically have the freedom to choose what's going to suit them best. And essentially just feel comfortable, Comfortable, free, confident.
The women who wear Gabrielle's swimwear tell us what they love about the brand, all remarking in their own way how the designs are tailored to suit their individual needs.
Sometimes I struggle to find swimwear that fits because, if you're a curvier girl, some of the swimwear out there is maybe for a different body shape, and then you kind of feel really insecure. And I find myself veering towards perhaps swimsuits that maybe aren't as flattering. So what I love about Gabrielle is she's found a great aesthetic of putting more classic styles, but she twists them into a nice modern feel. And it's a real sense of freedom wearing it. So I love it.
The one thing I like about Gabrielle's swimwear, you feel like you can take the costume and put it in jeans and it will still look like a bodysuit. Because I've traveled the world and I've realized that most of the costumes are very stagnant. It's just a bikini top and a bikini bottom. But for her, it's more an athleisure vibe. It's a lifestyle.
I love this piece. I love the neckline. It is so feminine and it gives you a really long neck look. I love the waistband. Yeah, it cinches in your waist. It's really nice to the touch. It makes me feel free. I can move around in it. And it really is produced from start to finish. She's doing everything and she does it amazingly. I really love it.
I just feel very blessed, and I'm finally in a position where I've got a really beautiful team behind me, and I feel like I can really push the business, especially internationally. We've gotten into New York, and I've recently opened a shop in Sri Lanka as well. So it's really been able to get Gabrielle Swimwear on the map and just get it more internationally recognized.
By making conscious decisions about what we wear, we can build a more sustainable future. As her business continues to expand across the globe, we can't wait to see the impact that Gabrielle's swimwear will have. For more information on the incredible guests featured in tonight's show, head to theinsidersa.co.za and visit our social media pages for details on how to win prizes and get discounts from this week's show.
Another feel-good production.